Hello everybody, I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful buttonhole which can be attached onto the jacket using these pins. These are the tools that you will need to make a buttonhole. Some floristry scissors, scissors to cut through wire, very sharp scissors so you can cut through ribbon if you'd like to make a bow, a rose stripper, some floristry tape, and this one has more of a waxy feel, which I like better because it doesn't stick to your fingers. I also have some very thin floristry wire and a slightly thicker one, and you use this to wire the main flower. You can also use some decorative wire, which is again very thin and lightweight. And what you would need to make a buttonhole, as in flower wise and greenery wise, is a rose, or you can choose any flower, but for this occasion I've chosen a bright yellow rose. And some ivy leaves here, and you've got the other parts of the ivy there as well. And as you can see, I've already wired these and sprayed them with leaf shine, which is this. I've also used some heather. And for a nice decorative touch, some buttons. So the rose stripper, you can use like this. You hold it out, and then wrap it around the rose and then just pull it down. And that leaves the stem clean without any leaves or thorns. And what you'll need to do is take away these parts of the rose, which you just pull back slightly and take that off. So I'll just show you once more. You just pull that back and then take it off like that. You don't need to pull it very much because they are delicate. And usually what I do is I take the outer petals off because they can be slightly different colour from the rest of the rose. And you just peel that off like that. As you can see, that one was slightly different shape and colour, and this one is pure yellow. And I'll also take this one off, like so. Usually I will cut it about a few fingers down, about there. And actually I'm going to make this smaller. I'm going to actually do it to there. So there's not very much left of that at all. Because I want this one to be as light as possible. So how do we wire the rose? What you need to do is take the thicker wire and put it right through the middle of the stem. And you should feel that you don't want to push it too much because you don't want it to go right through, but just until you feel that slight resistance when you pushed it quite far up. And so you see you've got this quite long bit of wire left. What you can do is just cut that there, and then to make sure that it is very secure, I usually take the thinner wire and put that right through, and it should come out the other side. And then you take one side and push it down, and this side you wrap it around the rose. And then I'll tape it as quickly as possible to stop the stem from drying out. And you need to put the tape right up to the top. And I usually wrap it round once, and then you need to pull it at an angle. Like this, and just keep twisting it as you put it round. And if it looks like it's a bit floppy and you see a tiny bit of wire, you can just go back to the top and do it again. Just make sure it's tighter, and again keep turning the rolls round as you do it. And if you pull it too much, it will snap like that, so you can just add it on again. Make sure it's as close to the rose as possible and just keep turning it. And it doesn't have to be exact down here because we will fix that later. Now the next thing I'm going to show you how to do is wire an ivy leaf. So I have mine sitting in water just to keep them fresh. I'll try and choose a small one. And what I can do is just give that a bit of a spray, which should make it very shiny. And then what you need to do to wire the ivy leaf is you put the wire in here. So you pushed it through to one side, but then you want to bring it back round to the other side, like this. And what you do again is you pull that through. A bit like the rose, you have one part down, and then the other part of the wire, you wrap that round. And then you take the tape and twist. So we've got the rows here. I'd already taped these earlier, so we've got some heather, and it's nice to have a point at the back. So I'd make it like that. And then I quite like these parts from the ivy. I'll make that round the front. Again, trying to keep it as light as possible because it's going to be on someone's jacket. and you don't want it to pull on the jacket. And to make it as light as possible, you have to hold it very tight, spin it around, and just keep the tape as close to the wire as possible. And you don't need to wire every time. Tape every time, sorry. So I'll use this one for the back. And I'll have the two small ones for around the front. And don't worry if they move a bit, that's the whole point in having them wired, because then we can move them a bit back round once you're finished. And for the bow, you can use any colour of bow, any colour of ribbon. I've used this tartan one here with the red and the green. And I'll pull back the sleeve a bit and this one, and then I can just sit the ribbon, a nice bow at the front. And to just finish it off, I do quite like to add sometimes a button. There is no right or wrong on how you decorate these. It's really all down to what the client would like. Or if you're wearing it yourself, then it's down to what you would like to wear. And what we'll do with these is, again, you don't want to make this too short. So I would probably just cut that off about there. And there you have it, a beautiful buttonhole.